All right, guys, so this is a story about how, once again, our public health authorities are proving just how much of a joke they actually are and why a lot of people are skeptical of these authorities, because it seems like their agenda is not in line with public health, but more so in line with a political agenda that will put the feelings of a certain group of people and demographic over actual public health and keeping people safe. And this story right here is a prime example of this, as San Francisco, who currently has about 250 so cases of monkeypox out of the almost 800 confirmed cases in California, decided that it would be a good idea to let a KINK festival or parade, whatever you want to call it. They decided to let it take place instead of canceling the event because of fears of monkeypox, right? And that this event could potentially be a super spreader event, considering the demographic of people that are the most affected by monkeypox and the demographic of people that show up to these so-called KINK festivals. Again, this is despite warnings from the World Health Organization, which has declared monkeypox a global emergency. They decided that, you know what, who cares, we're going to continue on with the parade and this festival because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. And I'm telling you guys, this is truly mind-blowing stuff, but it tells you what a lot of these people are actually really about. Take a look.
Francisco Festival happening today sparked concerns of being a super spreader event.
Yeah, this comes days after the city declared a state of emergency over the monkeypox outbreak. The health department reports San Francisco has 305 confirmed monkeypox cases. That is compared to 786 across the state. And as KPIX5's Dahlin reports, organizers decided to move forward with the annual Dory Alley Street Fair.
Instead of sounding the alarm on this event, health experts are using it to reach and educate people about monkeypox. Now, I must apologize, I'm a little overdressed for this event. I'll try to limit the wide shots and may have to even blur some footage here. Supporters of Dory Alley, also known as the Up Your Alley Street Fair, admit it's not for everyone.
I'm absolutely loving it. I'm not offended by the nudity.
And there's a lot of it.
And it's a lot of it. And some of it's beautiful, and some people may not think it's beautiful.
The Dory Alley Fair attracts a few thousand people, and it's a smaller version of the Folsom Street Fair.
This is an event that just sort of explores like kinks and fetishes and stuff, and this is mine, or one of mine.
It is the celebration of diversity because not everything fits within a certain realm. It's very important. It's part of our identities.
And it's fun.
Have you seen puppy play before?
There are all kinds of kinky games and vendors selling neck collars, whips, and anything leather.
Oh, you can still drink a beer out of this. It's not a problem.
It's a challenge. Go ahead.
Some people stayed away this year, calling the event a super spreader venue for monkeypox.
We've all had monkeypox vaccinations, so that's really important to us.
Organizers and even health experts say banning or stigmatizing a group of people or specific events tend to backfire. Instead, health officials set up booths at the street fair entrance to educate people about the virus.
There's a bit of a generational disconnect. That 30 and younger crowd doesn't have the same fear and respect for infections that the older crowd who survived HIV and AIDS. And so I'm really getting out there to try to talk to the younger crowd that you guys need to make sure you get your vaccine.
Hello.
Most fairgoers say no concerns. Some say they're limiting physical contacts with strangers.
I'm trying to keep my distance. If I get it, I have to deal with it, and I'm not going to let it defeat me.
We decided to avoid indoor venues last night at some of the parties. We're both getting vaccinated as soon as the vaccines become available.
Yeah, so I want y'all to understand, what you just saw there is what privilege looks like, right? That is what privilege in America looks like, okay? The state of California and San Francisco have declared monkeypox an emergency health crisis, okay? They have declared it an emergency. However, despite declaring an emergency, despite knowing how it spreads and the certain demographic of people that it spreads among the most, they decide to let these people congregate together and festivals that promote activities that could spread the virus even more. However, they spent the last 2 years locking down normal people, everybody else, locking down people over COVID, right? You couldn't hold an event like that. You couldn't go to the funeral of a loved one. You couldn't visit a sick loved one in the hospital. Your kids couldn't go to school. We could not live our normal lives because of COVID and trying to stop the spread. But when it comes to monkeypox, a disease that primarily affects LGBTQ individuals, all of a sudden, those same rules don't apply. All of a sudden, oh, we got to be careful not to ban these events, right? Because we don't want to stigmatize. We don't want to hurt people's feelings. We want to educate. We want to allow these people to congregate together, come together, touch each other, be all over each other at an event that the local media, at the very least, is saying that, hey, could potentially be a super spreader event. We're going to allow them to do that because we think it's important to educate. Okay, well, why didn't that same logic apply during COVID, right? When there were college football games or the Sturgis bike rally or, any event that happened to involve people who were mostly, I don't know, white and straight, right? Why during those events, none of that stuff applied? Why didn't that logic of, well, it's important not to ban these events because of stigma? Why did that not apply, right? They had no problem stigmatizing people of a certain race or sexuality or political ideology when it came to COVID. But when it comes to this, we got issues trying to stigmatize certain groups of people. We just don't want to, right? So therefore, we're going to let this event happen anyways, despite it being a public health emergency. Again, this really blows my mind. The hypocrisy here is absolutely amazing, okay? Again, remember, these are the same groups of people, right, that allowed BLM protests in the middle of the pandemic. Okay, they told everybody to stay locked down. Everybody needs to stay inside. However, that went out the window when BLM decided to riot in the streets. Oh, well, we can't say anything because they're black, right? Can't say anything because they're black. But you mean to tell me that those are the people that are supposed to be oppressed, right? LGBTQ individuals, black people, non-whites, right? Non-straights, non-whites. They're supposed to be oppressed. However, every time you look, it seems to me those are the people that's getting the most special privileges. Those are the people being able to get away with stuff that other folks can't get away with. How in the world can you justify having this festival when we're in the middle of what the World Health Organization has declared to be a public health emergency? What your state has declared to be a public health emergency. What your city has declared to be a public health emergency. And I just want to be clear. I'm not for the lockdowns. I'm not for canceling of events. I just want some consistency. I'm just trying to figure out why in the world did we cancel all these events and shut down the world for COVID? But for this, we can't even shut down an event that we know could possibly be a super spreader event just based off the demographics of people who are being most affected by this disease. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because they say, hey, man, it's not just sexual contact. That's not the only way this can spread. Don't be a bigot. It can spread by casual contact. Okay, well, if that's the case, how can you have an event like this, right? How can you have an event like this? How can you justify it? Again, considering what we did under COVID. Again, it's almost like rules don't apply to certain groups of people. And that is why people don't take these public health officials seriously. This is how you lose credibility, because it seems like public health and our policies is not dictated by actually keeping people safe and saving lives. It's dictated by politics and how people are supposed to feel and making sure a certain group of people don't get their feelings hurt. People should be pissed. They should be pissed that they weren't allowed to go to funerals, see sick loved ones, to live their normal lives during the COVID pandemic. But now with monkeypox, that affects a certain group of people. Oh, nope. We're not going to shut that down, even though, again, this event right here is an event that could potentially lead to it spreading even more. Also, on top of that, I wonder is this enough to not allow kids to be at these events? Because, these same people are totally fine with kids being at these events. And allegedly, monkeypox can be pretty severe when kids get it. So is that an excuse not to allow kids to be there? Or is that homophobic as well, too? Is that bigoted as well, too? Which is what they said when conservatives have been arguing the whole time that, kids shouldn't be at these events. Kids shouldn't be at these events. Is monkeypox enough to justify saying that kids shouldn't be there? I wonder. Probably not, right? Probably not. Because apparently the disease in and of itself doesn't warrant the public health authorities shutting down the event, despite them pushing that on the rest of society during the COVID pandemic. Again, this is absolutely crazy, man. This is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But I'm not surprised, because we all know who are the real privileged people in this society. And it's the exact same people that are claiming that they are oppressed. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.